Hello, it is time for the Retro Games Room version 4. This is version 3, which you saw me build, well, you may have seen me build 2.5 years ago when I moved into this house. But sadly, the owner of this house is now selling. I was just a tenant, and it's now time to move on. So come with me now as I take you through the journey of me dismantling this room, moving it across a suburb, and rebuilding it for the 4th time. So there are videos of me moving every single one. If you want to find them, just check out my features playlist. But yeah, it's gonna suck to see it go. This was the first dedicated room I've ever had for a retro gaming room, so kind of sucks that it's got to move, but they will reincarnate somewhere else. So, sometime in 2019, I did do a proper tour of this room, but it has progressed a little bit since, so I figured since I'm about to pack it all up, I may as well show you in its final state. And as you can see, the biggest orange addition you can see there is a sofa, which I bought from an op shop for something like, I don't know, it was like $20 or something. Much better than a beanbag. Just gonna put that out there right now. Pretty retro and funky, and not that I'd usually buy furniture from an op shop that's not entirely made out of wood, but it was in remarkable condition. It was only until I moved it here that the cat started scratching it up. I'm not sure if that appears on the video there or not, probably not. Also, the other major addition is the TV, but of course that got its own video probably a month and a half ago now. So it's not a huge room. As you can see, we'll just do a full pan. But I don't live in a big house, so I feel fortunate that I have a room at all, to be honest. I'd just like to point out that I also have a pretty nice view out the window, very nice gardens. I don't think I've ever actually shown that on the channel before. Usually I have the curtains shut so I can control the amount of light. But as you can see there, in this current house, I actually have a pretty decently sized garden. The new place I'm going to has very little garden. It doesn't actually have a garden at all. And that is both a good and a bad thing. Obviously I don't have to maintain this anymore, which could be a bit of an issue. But also where we're living, it's not on a main road, like it's kind of hard to tell, but behind that tree, and it is quiet today because I'm filming on a Sunday, but that road can get quite noisy, especially during peak times, and that's really annoying for recording audio for my channel. But anyway, quick aside, let's have a look at the rest of the room. There you go, there's a car going past there, and if someone goes past in a diesel or something, it can be quite loud. So I guess I'll start with the actual TV area itself. I won't go too much into the TV since I did get its own video not too long ago, so check that out if you're interested in how this works and how it's capable, or what it's capable of, I should say. But basically, here's my little switch box center, my little leaning tower of doom. All those black switch boxes are for composite, and there's a little switch box on the top there for Elgato. And this has more or less been the same for many years now, so anyone who's watched the previous videos, that's nothing new. Otherwise, I do have a component switch box there now as well, because this TV has component. And before I use this, I use that cheapo flat screen TV over there for all my component capable consoles. But it's cool now that I have the TV that supports it, so I can just have everything composite and component plugged into the same TV. And then below the TV we have both the Xbox and the PS2. Both are mod shipped to output, to play games from other regions, but also to output the highest available resolutions that they can do. And there's my trusty Elgato Game Catcher HD. It's seen better days, but as of right now it still works. And here's all my consoles. Again, nothing really new here to see. It's mostly just for people who haven't seen the other videos. But all these consoles are hooked up and ready to go. They're all plugged in. And they have LED strip lights under each cubby, so they are nicely illuminated. Otherwise, I keep all my handhelds on the top here. This is a bit of a disorganized mess, and is really something I would like to look into for the new room. Maybe little kickstands. But there's definitely a few additions here since the last time I showed all this off. Namely things I've fixed on this channel, like the Atari Lynx, the Neo Geo Pocket Color, a couple of Atari 2600s there now as well. But that is it for the consoles. In this corner, we've just kind of got some storage going on. The master plan was to get a glass display cabinet for my more prized and more, items that are worth a bit more money. Not like there's that much of that in my collection. But, it's just a bit of a mess. I have got to the point of putting a lot of it in storage containers, so I guess that's something, and it will make moving them a little bit easier. But otherwise, this is sort of the corner of the retro games room that I never got to. Onto one of two shelves. As you can see, I like collecting games boxes, so I've got a few there at the top. And then I have my PS2 collection there, part 1, PS2 collection part 2, Xbox and GameCube. And then we've got PC big box, and there's more of those hiding behind there. There's my sort of mid-sized box, as well as a few other big box games. And then these are all PC games as well, but these are all in DVD jewel cases for the most part. Moving on to shelf number 2, there's generally older games on this shelf, so we have a few more boxes at the top. And then we've got PS1 Part 1, PS1 Part 2, and just so you know, all of this is filmed in 4K, so if you want to have a closer look at my collection, you should be able to pause and go full screen and everything should be visible. Then on this shelf we just have a bit of a mix match. We've got all my Super Famicom and Super Nintendo games on the left, all my Genesis and Mega Drive games in the middle, as well as a small smattering of NES games to the side. And then we've got some handheld games here. We've got some Game Boy, GameCube and Atari links all there together. And same for the second shelf, just all some loose Game Boy cartridges there. As well as Dreamcast, both English, NTSC and Japanese games. My very small DS collection there in the middle. And then Game Boy Color games that are boxed. And there's also a couple of Commodore 64 tapes, which I don't have any way to play because I do not have a Commodore 64. I do have a tape player. I've even got a disc player. No, disc drive is what I should be saying. But no, C64. I found them all ridiculously cheap in a vintage store. The old lady running it had no idea what it was, and I turned the whole store upside down trying to find the C64, but no. So got a lot of good stuff, but not an actual computer to play any of it. And then on the second last shelf we have my ever-growing PSP collection, and may I add, PSP is very good to collect for right now, very cheap. All of these, I don't know if there's much in there that costs more than $3, which I've bought in the last couple of years. Then in the middle we've got N64, got some Atari 2600 there, as well as a couple of box games. Then we've got some loose Game Boy Color games next to my WonderSwan Color, which is a very recent addition actually, and the one game I owned for that. Bought that on Facebook Marketplace for an absolute steal. And then at the bottom we've got some Leapster games for some reason, a couple of Master System games, some, I don't know, miscellaneous computer discs including Windows 8, a few more games at the bottom there for the PC, a few more loose Master System games, some Famicom games, and then some blank discs. So that's pretty much it for the games. I do have this coffee table here, which I keep my laptop and, whatever I'm working on at the time. This is a cool gift from my sister for Christmas. It is a notepad that's in the shape of a PlayStation 1, which is my favorite console. So a very thoughtful gift. Thank you, Neve. And there's a sneak hint at my next review whenever I get to that, since moving takes up a lot of time and resources. And just to finish off this tour, I'll just show you some stuff in the cupboard here. This is a general, there's a lot of different stuff in here. There's some camping and picnic stuff at the top there, and then some craft supplies for my partner there. But otherwise, I've got some miscellaneous box there, but then I have these drawers, which I bought from Coles. The Coles, the supermarket, really cheap, but, I just use these for controllers, just accessories, and cables. Much better before they were just in containers like this and you had to dig through it to find stuff, so there is still a little bit of digging, but otherwise it's a lot easier and a lot simpler to get to things. So it's been fun, Retro Games Room. But since I'm getting kicked out of here, it is now time to move. And I should probably add that I'm not actually moving for another 2 weeks as of recording this video, which is the 24th of January. But gotta start somewhere in the long process of moving a whole house over, so I guess the retro room is a good start. So let's kick this head off. That was a bit strange. Let's start packing. Coming along, shelves are empty, games are mostly packed away. I'm surprised that they only fit into 4 different boxes. 4 heavy boxes, I should add, but yeah, always a surprise. Now on to the consoles, which will also be going into a box, although I'll be wrapping those in newspaper for safety. And it's probably about the only good use for the West Australian, really. Well, Annika basically packs up the rest of the house. I'm nearly finished with the retro game room. There's bits of the floor that haven't been seen in quite a while, and there's other bits of the floor that are now completely covered in boxes and storage. So basically I just want the furniture to be near the door, because that's what's ultimately going to be moved out first. And then we can get to all these boxes. So there isn't just retro gaming stuff in these boxes, although it is the majority of it. Basically there is a bunch of other unrelated stuff in the wardrobe, which I showed before. So that's also in these boxes. They'll probably be going back into a similar wardrobe in the new retro gaming room, so I thought I'd just keep it all together. Basically that cupboard's been completely cleared out as well, so I can now put stuff in front of it. But yeah, this is probably the last you'll ever see of this room, so say your goodbyes. Alright, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I feel like it's already getting pretty long. My best guesstimate would be towards the 15-minute mark, so I guess we'll see how true to that I was. So I'm going to split this up into 2 parts. First part is over, of me clearing out version 3. Part 2 will be me setting up version 4. So I'll be showing the move process and the build process. yeah, it's something I gotta do anyway, so I thought I may as well make a video about it. Sort of crap I would watch, so hopefully it's the sort of crap you'll watch as well. So that's it. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far, and hopefully I'll see you in part 2.